Yesterday I talked about how the metric system works and how it's based on a base 10 system. And today we are going to go over how to convert from one unit to another. We're going to start over here on the left, and we are going to convert from a larger to smaller. Sorry, we are going to convert from a smaller unit to a larger unit. I'm going to start by moving this aside, but I want you to still be able to see it. Converting from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you are going to move the decimal point to the left, or you can divide. That doesn't seem that clear. We're going to say that our base unit is going to be the meter. That means our bigger unit is going to be a kilometer. So we're going to go from a smaller unit. Let's imagine that we have 35 meters, and we want to know how many kilometers is it. We know that when you write a whole number, it is not just that number, but it is 35.0 meters. And it says, the rule says, move the decimal point to the left. But how many points do I move it to the left? Well, let's count. We have our base unit. Move it 1, 2, 3 stops to the kilometer. So I'm going to go 1, 2. Now my decimal point is in front of the 3. There's no number there. Move it again. So 35 meters is equal to 0.035 kilometers. The second way is to divide. So I have my 35 meters is equal to X kilometers. I want to go from 35 meters. I know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. This right here, where you see the kilometer over meters, is called a conversion factor. This allows us to write equivalent values as a fraction. That is equal to 1. So if 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters, then I can write this fraction 1 kilometer over 1,000 meters, or is equal to 1, or I can write 1,000 meters over 1 kilometer. This is also equal to 1 because the top and the bottom of the fraction are equal values. We use the conversion factor to switch our units. So I have 35 meters, and I want to find out my answers in kilometers. So my meters now cancels out. and I have 35 kilometers over 1,000, which is going to be equal to 35 divided by 1,000, 0.035 kilometers. So the conversion factor, this thing right here, allows us to switch from one unit to the next. Conversion is switching from one unit to another using conversion factors. Equivalent fractions. All right? That is what conversion is when we are switching from one unit to another. Let's look at going from a smaller to a bigger, from a smaller to a bigger, and from a smaller to a bigger. We'll do them both ways. We have 1,000 milligrams, and we want to know how many grams. Let's look at our conversion table. We have milligrams down here, and we're going up to grams, our base unit. So we know we're going to have to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 steps to get to grams. And we are moving it to the left. So we have 1,000.0 milligrams. And we're going to move it 1, 2, 3 steps to the left. It is equal to 1 gram. Let's see how that works by doing the division. If I have 1,000 milligrams, and I know that 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams, that is going to end up with grams. So my milligrams cross out. I know that 1,000 divided by 1,000 is 1. The step looks like this: 1,000 milligrams over 1,000 milligrams. When you have the same number on the top or bottom of the fraction, we know that it is equal to 1. I want you guys to do these next 2 steps. To go in the other direction. I have a really big number and I'm going to convert it to a small number. So now we are going larger to smaller. In our units, that's this one, and this one. It says move the decimal point to the right or multiply. Here's my example. I have 33 meters and I want to know how many millimeters am I going to have. So we have 33.0, and we are going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places to the right. 1, 2, 3 places to the right. So now I have 33,000 millimeters. Or multiply. I have 33 meters. And I know that there are 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. This is the conversion factor again. And if you recall, it can be written with meters on top and millimeters on the bottom, or with meters on the bottom and millimeters on top. It doesn't matter, because either way you write it, it still is equal. The value it has is 1. My meters cancel out, and now I have 33 times 1,000 millimeters. It's equal to 33,000 millimeters. Let's do one of these examples. We have 160, well, I can't write today. We have 160 centimeters. And the question is, how many millimeters? Well, here is our centimeters. Here is our millimeters. We are only going one spot. Centimeters to millimeters. So if I have 160.0, I'm going to move the decimal point one spot. So now I have 1,600 millimeters. Let's check that with math. We have 160 centimeters times 10 millimeters for 1 centimeter. My centimeters cancel out. And now my equation is 160 times 10 millimeters is going to be equal to 1,600 millimeters. My conversion is different. I know that 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter. Or I know that 10 milli, whatever the base unit is equal to 1 centi, whatever the base unit is. So it doesn't matter if I'm talking about millimeters or milligrams. Here is a final example, which may be a little tricky. We are going to go from kilometers down to millimeters. I want you to be able to see the ladder. So let's imagine that I live 7 kilometers away from the school, and I want to know how many millimeters is that. Well, you're never going to take your ruler and measure it in millimeters. You'll be here all day. So the fastest way to do it is to convert. Here's my 7.0. And I'm going from larger to smaller. So my decimal point is going to go 1, 2, 3 to the base unit. 1, 2, 3 down to the milli level. So that's over 6. Let me write some zeros here. So I need to go 1, 2, 3. That brings us down to the base unit. 4, 5, 6. So my 7 kilometers is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 million millimeters. And just for kicks and giggles, let's write that in scientific notation. If I was going to write this in scientific notation, I first need to make it be a number between 1 and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my answer is going to be 7 times 10 to the 6th millimeters. You make your very large number be a number between 1 and 10. You do that by moving the decimal point. I move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So it's 7 times 10, and the exponent is the number of times the decimal point was moved. So 7 kilometers is equal to 7 times 10 to the 6th millimeters, or 7 million millimeters.